Dirtle Magic. Thank you for tuning in to Dirtle Magic. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the content you see here today, and leave a like and share the video with someone you might think is interested. Leaving those likes really helps us out, but another way to help us out is by using our TCG Player affiliate link below. If you're looking for singles, sealed product, or gaming accessories, please consider using our link to support the channel. We also have some playmats at inkgaming.com. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to check those out. Alright, let's grab some spells and dirtle with some magic. Hello and welcome back to Dirtle Magic. Today we're playing some more Piru the Volatile. Looking at our opening hand, we have land, some card draw, the Wanderer, and Athreos. I think we can keep this. Our commander is 2 red, white, black for a legendary 7/7 Elder Dragon flying in lifelink. At the beginning of our upkeep, we sacrifice her unless we pay red, white, black. When it dies, it deals 7 damage to each non-legendary creature. Our first opponent with Sulphur Falls into play and a mana crypt, oh boy, is Jeleva Nephalia Scourge. 1 blue, black, red for a legendary 1/3 Vampire Wizard flying. When it enters the battlefield, each player exiles the top X cards of the library, where X was the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Whenever she attacks, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among cards exiled with her without paying its mana cost. They also had a Dimir Signet come into play. Our turn gives us the Wheel of Misfortune. Let's get down the Snowfield Sinkhole so we can have our other lands come into play untapped and pass it off. Our second opponent is Delina Wild Mage, 3 red for a legendary 3/2 Elf Shaman. When it attacks, choose target creature you control, then roll a d20. 1 through 14, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of the creature, except it's not a legendary and has exiled this creature at end of combat. 15 through 20, create one of those tokens, you may roll again. They have a mountain and a mana vault come into play. Well, okay. Lots of fast mana today, I guess. Our last opponent is Rakdos the Showstopper. 4 black-red for a legendary 6/6 demon flying and trample. When enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp. Destroy each creature whose coin flip comes up tails. They just have a mountain into play. Jeleva's turn, the Bonk Crypt will trigger. Let's see if things happen. They win the flip, still at 40. Propaganda hits the battlefield for Jeleva. Attacking her will be a little bit difficult. Dimir Aqueduct into play. They bounce back the Sulphur Falls and play a Sensei's Divining Top. To our turn, we get a Hagra Mauling. Might play it as a land and wait to play the Isolated Chapel on the Summit. Don't really want to draw any extra cards right now, so let's go ahead and play this as the land. And we'll pass it off there. To Delina's turn, Mana Vault will trigger for the first time this game. Delina Wild Mage coming down for that player. Just a mountain for Rakdos. Over to Jeleva. They lost the flip. 3 damage to them, they're at 37. Rankle Master of Pranks into play for them. Followed by an activation for Sensei's Divining Top. Rankle's on the attack. It is off into the Rakdos player. Damage is good, Rakdos down to 37. Let's see what they pick for the triggers. They pick each player loses 1 life and draws a card, and each player sacrifices a permanent? Or a creature, sorry. Cool. So nothing bad for us. Nomad Outpost is something we get. Always good to get some more lands. And for our turn, we get Sulphurous Springs. Let's go ahead and play the Dragon Skull Summit. And I guess we'll just get down Athreos for now. The game is a bit slower than I'd anticipated, might as well take the opportunity. Over to Delina's turn, Mana Crypt does the triggering. They're down to 38. We have Stigma Lasher coming down. I haven't seen that card in a long time. So in case you're unfamiliar with the card, red for a 2/2 Elemental Shaman Wither, so it has the damage side of Infect. It won't poison anyone though. Whenever it deals damage to a player, that player can't gain life for the rest of the game. That's really bad for us. Rakdos' turn sees Rakdos Carnarium come into play. They'll have to bounce a land. Over to Jeleva, Mana Crypt again. They lose the flip down to 33. Rakdos Signet coming down, followed by Whispering Madness. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards discarded this way by a player. Sad face, I rather liked our hand. We do need a blocker for the Stigma Lasher though, so this might be a blessing in disguise. Let's see what we have here. Hoffrey, okay. Sir Conrad, Toroff. Guess we'll have to play Toroff a little bit earlier than I'd like. Top activated. We get Campbell, Consul of Elocation. Could be pretty good later. Let's get down Toroff though, so we have a decent blocker. I guess we could get down Campbell and the Wayfarer's Bauble instead, actually. So, yeah, I guess let's do that. Campbell, Consul of Allocation, to the battlefield. And then we'll play Wayfarer's Bauble. And pass off the turn. Over to Delina's turn, Mana Vault will trigger again, they'll take 1 damage. It's Panharmonicon and Camball triggers for the first time this game. We gain 2, Delina loses 2. Panharmonicon's pretty good. I did already face a deck similar to this, although I think it was led by someone else. No attacks out of Delina, moving on over to Rakdos. It's a sad robot. Swamp into play tap for Rakdos, over to Jeleva. You know what the crypt does. They lose the flip there, down to 30. Mountain into play. Skyclave Relic, and it's kicked. They also lose 2 life and we gain 2. Because it was kicked, they get 2 token copies of it, and they are indestructible. Teferi's Puzzle Box. Uh-oh. Nothing good comes out of a puzzle box. Anyway, to our turn, we get Boros Reckoner. Not long for the world, though. We have to put them on bottom in any order, so I don't particularly care. New hand, Despark Painful Truths, Vizkopa Guildmage, and Priest of Fell Rights. Okay, that is interesting. What do we want to do here? Well, I do like Phyrexian Tower. Let's go ahead and get that down. And then I want to get down to Vizkopa and the Priest of Fell Rights, but I also want to play Painful Truths. Could also get rid of the puzzle box with Despark, so that might be something we're doing. Well, let's play Painful Truths. Unfortunately, we do need the other color to get rid of the Teferi's puzzle box, so we only get 2 cards. We get Dagger Necromancer and Golgari Thug. Let's go ahead and get rid of that puzzle box. And we'll pass it off there. Over to Delina's turn. They do have enough mana to untap the Mana Vault this time. Will they, though? They do not. They go down to 34. We have a Mana Geyser. Nice. That also makes me a little bit afraid. Wheel of Fortune. We didn't do much to save ourselves, unfortunately. Okay, we draw 6 new cards. At the last one, I did use the Dredge to get Golgari Thug back. Let's see if we got anything cool to get back. Not too much. Vizkopa Guildmage and the Priest are still pretty good. Combustible Gearhulk we can get back. It's not too bad. More lands, get down Piru at some point. Viserys here for a sack outlet. We do have Flawless Maneuver, which would make our stuff indestructible. Berserker's Onslaught. That's not going to be good if it gets attacking. Felden of the Third Path, personal favorite card of mine, and if you haven't checked out those decks on the channel, go ahead and check that out. Mask of Memory. We're going to gain some more life. We're up to 51. Delina down to 26. Let's see if they attack. They do. It's off into us. Yeah, we'll be blocking. That was the whole point. Athreos will trigger. Might as well target Delina. They pay the 3 life. They're down to 23. Rakdos sees Whip of Erebos come down. And a Croc's Thumb. To Jeleva's turn, they lost the flip again, down to 23. Sol Ring coming down. Wandering Archaic. That should be interesting. Coalition Relic. And Shared Fate. Oh no, not this card again. I just played a Chaos deck with this. If a player would draw a card, that player exiles the top card of one of their opponent's libraries face down instead. Each player may look at the cards exiled with Shared Fate, and they may play lands and cast spells from among those cards. I hate that card so much. Okay, choose an opponent. Let's see, we'll need to choose somebody we can cast spells off of, right? Choose Delina, I guess. We get a Kiki Jiki. Nice. Let's go ahead and play Temple of the False God. Let's play Golgari Thug. We'll crack the Bauble for a mountain. Viserys here. And then we'll play the Boral Signet. And we'll pass the turn there. Could have played a red land to get the Kiki Jiki, and it probably would have been the better thing to do. But I'm trying to get people to maybe leave us alone a sec. I am somewhat worried about Jeleva. Only 3 cards in hand for them. But that has an awful lot of mana, and I haven't ever faced against the Wandering Archaic. Potentially pretty bad. So, we'll have to wait and see. I do want to use the card myself, though. Delina's turn, Mana Vault triggers again. They'll take 1. Delina down to 22, Mountain into play. Let's see what they're going to do with the turn. They do have Felden to be active now. Let's see, Flamerous Riders could be okay. Brazen Dwarf, what does that do? Alright, so 1 damage to each opponent. And Earth Cult Elemental. I actually think this one's not too shabby. I mean, half the time it's all upside, so... Delina Wild Mage coming down for that player. We have some attacks. They're both off into us. Yeah, we will block the Stigma Lasher. Still want to be gaining that life. We'll let Felden through for 2, though. And we have some triggers. Might as well ask them to pay the life. Think Golgari Thug will trigger. What do we want on top? Camball could still be pretty good. We do want to summon our commander next turn. Let's do Vizkopa Guildmage. Potentially can win the game right there, depending on what gets summoned. Golgari Thug gets to go back to our hand. Nice. We take 2. We're down to 49. Okay, let's see what they might cast off Shared Fate. They could get our Vizkopa Guildmage. That'd be pretty good for him. We do have to draw some removal for the Shared Fate and get back our Guildmage if somebody takes it, because we won't actually be able to get it. I really, really hate that card. Unfortunately, we haven't drawn too much in the removal department. Golgari Thug could be good for getting us back something, but we also haven't run any creatures that do it either. No attacks out of the Rakdos player, just racking up some stuff there. Nothing in the graveyard really to summon, I wager? Well, there's Bloodgift Demon. Villus Broker Blood could be good. Sascha, what is this one? Debaser. Oh, that's the Encore guy, right? Yep. Over to Jeleva. Mana Crypt. Whole game. Doing the things like pain. They take the 3 down to 20. Coalition Relic is triggered for the first time this game. Tribute to Hunger. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. You gain life equal to that creature's toughness. They are choosing the Rakdos player. Sad Robot's going to be sacrificed. Said Robot leaves behind some knowledge. We have Jeleva, Nephalia's Scourge coming down. Atherflux Reservoir goes into Exile Zone. Okay. There's also a Razaketh and a Vargoth. Was this Blood Sky Sire? Yeah. Evolving Wilds gets the crack. Coalition Relic is activated to put a counter on it. If his Kobold Guildmage gets exiled by Jeleva, that's unfortunate. So, this thing that they did get is Torment of Hailfire. We have the Wandering Archaic off into us. We'll just take it. We're down to 43. Choose an opponent. Who do we want to choose here? Well, let's choose the Rakdos player this time. We get Necropotence. Potentially pretty good. Let's play Luxury Suite. It would use up all of our black mana, though, and that's not the best. And we do need to get rid of Javella. I don't want that Torment of Hellfire coming at anybody, so I guess we're summoning our commander regardless. Piru the Volatile to the stack, and to the battlefield. Too bad it doesn't have haste. We do have Athreos, though. Let's go ahead and go to attacks. We'll attack the Jeleva player and pay 2 to do so. Jeleva is on the intercept. That works for me. Jeleva is down. I imagine she'll go back to the command zone, and we'll pass it off there. We can sacrifice that instant speed, so I'm not too worried about it. Over to Delina's turn. Let's see if they untap the Mana Vault this turn. They do not. They'll take another damage. They do not. They'll take 1 more damage. They're going to target our Seer. Yeah, that always happens. Okay. Wandering Archaic triggers for the first time this game. It looks like they are paying the 2 to have it prevented, though. Alright, let's go ahead and sack for some stuff. Do we want to put Piru in the command zone? Yes, potentially, because we have no way to really get it back without getting Shared Fated. We'll pick the Delina player for the Athreos, God of the Passage trigger. They can still pay the life. It won't actually do anything for us. But if they pay the life, that's fine too. And then we'll sacrifice the Seer to itself. And we'll pick the Delina player again. They'll let us get back the Seer. We get Scry 1. It's Mountain. Don't need another land right now. We had planned to summon our commander, so let's put that on the bomb. But we could use this some card draw. Unfortunately, 3 of our sources already hit the bin. 2 creatures go down. Stigma Lasher going down is fine with us. We're up to 57. Remember, it hits only non-legendaries. Generous Gift. Yeah, we'll put that on top for sure. Need to get rid of that darn Shared Fate. Unfortunately, I played Vizkopa Guildmage right into that. Was a little bit ahead of myself there. I suppose on the bright side, Jeleva exiled it? Yay! They do get to return a creature. It looks like it's the Flame Rush Riders. It is. It's too bad, we could use that command ourselves. Mask of Memory is being equipped to their commander. Delina is on the attack. Both of the things are into us, including Felden. Let's see. I imagine they're going to be yeah, Felden. I guess at that point it doesn't really matter, although Delina does have an extra power, so we'll also be taking the extra Felden. Triggers are good. We're also up to 3 commander damage. A Mask of Memory will trigger for the Delina player. Alright, looks like they may have taken our Generous Gift. That's too bad. I don't think there's really any other thing on the table, unless we get a Feed the Swarm or a Chaos Warp that can deal with the Shared Fate. Over to the Rakdos player. Let's see what they do with the turn. They really haven't done much yet. They haven't even summoned their commander. To be fair, there's not been a lot of creatures to destroy. Whip of Erebos is being activated. It's getting back Rakshasha Debaser. Uh-oh. Hey, Blood Speaker. Haven't seen that in a while, too. I did notice it in the graveyard earlier. This came actually in a Kamigawa deck pre-con. I forget which. I think it was in Betrayers, one of those. Anyways, Black-Red Demons. It has lifelink and haste. And whenever it attacks the target creature from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Yeah, it's pretty good. Actually, I kind of like it better than Grave Titan as far as like a 6-drop for a 6/6 goes. They attacked into Jeleva, I think? Yeah, they did. Alright, let's see what's in their graveyard. Thieving Skydiver, Rankle, Wandering Archaic. That's what they are getting back. Damage is good. Damage is good. Jeleva down to 16. Rakdos up to 42. Whip of Erebos will trigger, though, exiling the Debaser. So if you can't remove an enchantment, remove the player. That always works. We have a top activation. Over to Jeleva's turn. I think at this point we will have to cast a Necropotence just to actually draw some cards from our deck and not from somebody else. It's unfortunate. I really didn't want to use it, but I'm also not going to be throwing this game anytime soon. We do also have to worry about Feldon activations for that Stigma Lasher, because this deck needs to be gaining the life so it can use some of its abilities. So we will need also a Defender. And I think as long as we get down Golgari Thug or Viserys here, we should be okay. Might as well just use them as sacrifice fodder. Grixis Panorama into play and cracked for the Jeleva player. We have a top activation. Oh, we have the secondary top activation. They will draw a card with it. It's Jeleva again. Let's see what they steal. So this time it will be 6 cards to exile. Losing all these valuable resources is a giant pain in the butt. We lose Erebos, Tolroth, Command Beacon, and Battlefield Forge. And what else did we lose? Let's see here. Demonic Tear is not ours. Path to Exile might be ours. I do like the art. Rip Apart I think is also ours. Sign in Blood, potentially ours. And we don't have either of the others. And we get to pick an opponent again. Let's pick Jeleva, I guess. We haven't picked them yet. We get an island. Yeah, sure, it doesn't come into play tapped. We'll play Golgari Thug. And we'll cast Necropotence. And Kiki-Jiki is ours. Activate Necropotence 4 times. That means at the end of our turn, we get 4 cards back. And I think we'll just pass it off there. I suppose we could attack with Kiki-Jiki or make a token, but I need some defenses. End of turn, we get to draw those cards, basically. Borstrom, Expedition Map, Swamp, and a Plains. Not too terribly helpful. Over to Delina. They still don't pay to untap it. They'll take 1 damage down to 20. Swamp put into play, owned by the Rakdos player, followed by Felwar Stone. Feldon with the 3rd path is being activated. What is it this time? Stigma Lasher. Yep, saw that coming. We have attacks. Stigma Lasher still coming at us. That's a sad face. Delina is going off to Jeleva, though. They're rolling a die. Let's see what the result will be. They are targeting the Stigma Lasher. That'll be another token of it. Okay, they did not roll where they get to copy it. It's still coming at us. Sad face. Let's go ahead and activate Kiki-Jiki and make a Golgari Thug. Athreos is online. Nice. Jeleva quits the game. That's unfortunate. Golgari Thug's off into the Lashers. Make sure we get each. Let's double check here. I don't want to mess this up. And we have a number of triggers. Let's go ahead and try to drain the Delina player. If our thing stops spazzing out anyway. And let's see. Shared Fate is gone, so we should be good to do a bunch of stuff now. Kimball could be good. We probably want to get back at least 1 Golgari Thug. And maybe the Combustible Gear Hulk? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. If they pay for Athreos, we won't get anything back in actuality. 1 was a token and we already got the other one to the top of our deck, so oh well. They did not pay any of the life. Good for them. Mask of Memory will trigger, though. Well, yeah, when a player leaves Magic Online, it assumes the triggers will go off. And I rather like that about it. Alright, let's see what they discarded. It was Den of the Bugbear. Oh, yep, that's right. Add Double Strike. Besides that, though, the Rakdos player has a lot of mana, Whip of Erebos, tons of stuff in their graveyard, and 5 cards in hand. Yeah, I think we're in danger here. End of turn triggers, all the tokens will go away. To Rakdos' turn. Looks like we have another Whip activation. It's pretty good when everything has lifelink. Vilas Broker of Blood would be somewhat effective. They are getting back Vilas. They are using its ability. So in case you're unfamiliar with Vilas, it does have the ability black, pay 2 life, target creature gets neg1 till end of turn, and whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. It's a pretty decent commander too, although it does cost 8. 3 total activations to take Feldon out of the game. The Vilas player will draw 6 cards total off of this ability so far. Vilas on the attack into us. That's a sad face. We'll go down to 31. There it is, and they go back up to 44. With 11 cards in hand, they will have to discard at the cleanup step. Oh, they're activating it again. Let's see where it's going. It's going to Kiki-Jiki. Yeah, that's fine. Don't care too much about losing it. End step. Vilas goes to the exile. They will have to discard 6 cards now. Our turn gives us a Plains. Not very helpful at all. Let's go ahead and play a Plains. Kiki-Jiki's still notably on the battlefield, so that's not too bad. Let's get back down our commander. Hopefully that will stop people from hitting us and such. And I guess we'll get back down to Viserys here. Let's go ahead and make a copy of the Viserys here, because why not? Let's go to attacks. Swing Athreos off into Rakdos, and Viserys here off into Delina because reasons. Damage is good. Rakdos down to 37, Delina down to 19. Let's pass it off. We have a trigger. Let's do it at Rakdos. Maybe they'll pay the 3 life for no reason. They do not. Over to Delina's turn. Mana Vault, of course, is triggering. They do not pay for it. They are down to 18. 5 cards in hand after the draw, though. Still have Double Strike. Still have their commander. Potentially still could do some kind of explosive turn. They do have 8 available mana. Delina is on the attack. They're targeting Delina itself for the triggered ability. Let's see where they're going. 1 into each of us. I suppose we'll block with Piru. Although I hope there's nothing else going to go on here. First strike combat damage happens. Piru's hit for 3. Rakdos is hit for 3. It's commander. To be more accurate, the Rakdos player is hit for 3. And there it is, token goes down, Piru barely alive. We do gain 7 life though, back up to 38. Mask of Memory triggers again for that double strike. Damage is good against Rakdos all the way around. They're up to 6 commander, down to 31. Discard to the graveyard looks like a mountain and a treasure chest. We have Mirror March coming in for Delina. Too bad is not roll a die. Combat Celebrant. Mirror March will trigger twice because of the Panharmonicon. So, if it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. When you do, untap it. Does this give them infinite combats? Looks like they lost the flip for both Mirror Match triggers. That's too bad for them. So, yeah, I am wondering, does Celebrant give the infinite combats with Delina then? Rakdos is the showstopper for that player. We're going to go ahead and play Flawless Maneuver so our guys gain Indestructible. Rakdos into play. This would be the last point where you'd be able to respond to this ability. You can't respond to it once they start flipping coins, and then it resolves and everything's dead before you can respond to it, so just an FYI there. Celebrant dies. Not too much worse for wear anywhere. Rakdos Signet coming down for the Rakdos player. Rakdos does have to discard 1 card. Let's go ahead and see what it might be. It's the Blood Speaker again. Our turn, Piru will trigger for the first time this game. Much more valuable alive than dead. Let's go ahead and pay for it. Yet again, I was not able to use the Signet. That is disappointing. Let's go ahead and play a Swamp. We'll activate Necroponents 3 times. And then I guess we will go to combat. Athreos into Delina, Piru into the Rakdos player. I doubt they're going to block Piru though. Oh, they are going to block. Okay. Is there any combat relative abilities that pumps it? I don't think so. Rakdos goes down. They do have mana to recast it. That's not so much an issue. And they left it in the graveyard for the Whip of Erebos trigger. That's fine, we still have Boros Charm. In that case though, I guess we can get down the Expedition map and crack it. We'll activate the Necropotence 1 more time. Actually, twice more, and let's crack the map. Let's get Vault of the Archangel. And we have some triggers. We will have to discard 1 card, but that's not terrible. Ooh, Valcode Exploration. Okay, we got a few lands. Let's get rid of the Alpine Meadow. We have Clifftop Retreat. Much better at this point. Our card will get exiled. To Delina's turn, let's see if they untap that Mana Vault. They do not untap it. They go down to 12, and a Mind Stone coming into play. It's Neheb the Eternal. Mirror March will trigger twice. Relic Robber. Deals combat damage to the player. That player creates a 0/1 colorless Golem Construct artifact with this creature can't block. At the beginning of the upkeep, it deals 1 damage to the player. Interesting. It also has haste, which is problematic. They do get 1 extra robber. Delina will trigger, they'll make another robber, or at least attempt to. You do get 1 regardless, it's just if you get that 15 through 20, you get to do it again. Hey, they won it. Hey, they won it again, nice. That's a lot of cred though. Let's see where everything's going. Okay, it's not all into us. 2 things are going into the Rakdos player. That's a lot of stuff we have to block though. Let's see, I do want to block and kill them. They do have double strike though. I don't want all those tokens burning us down for 4 damage every turn. That is a bit of a sad face. I do want to keep Kiki-Jiki around though. So let's go ahead and make a token of the Viscera Seer. Yeah, so I couldn't make the token to get into for a block, so guess I had to do that in the attack step. We have a lot of triggers. We'll be taking 4 of those guys. On the bright side, they're creatures, so we can just sack them, so that's nice. We'll just sacrifice all the tokens so we don't have to deal with them. And Athreos will trigger a bunch. They don't have to pay because they're tokens, but if they do, we're closer to victory. Swamp, let's go ahead and put that on the bottom. Veinwitch Coven. Whenever we gain life, we may pay black. If we do, return a creature card from our graveyard to our hand. Let's put that on top. And there's some more triggers. We go down to 24. Double strike, as it were. We'll probably just sacrifice all the things again. Actually, at this point, let's go ahead and sacrifice Piru. We'll put Piru back in the command zone. And then it'll go off. All the non-legendaries die. Let's go ahead and do some Athreos triggers. We go up to 115 life. I think we're pretty healthy. Donna did pay to keep 1 thing out of our hand. The rest were just tokens. Do we want to keep Vine Witch Coven on top? We don't really have any life gain to speak of right now. Could get back some stuff, though. Problem is, it won't help us really recur anything right now. I think we'll keep it on top. And then Mask of Memory will trigger for the second time for Delina. Neheb will give them 26 red mana. Let's see what they can do with it. I think we're well out of reach of a burn spell, so that's nice. Soul Ring coming down for Delina. They could play out the rest of the cards in their hand, though, I'm sure. All the non-existent tokens get sacrificed. Over to Rakdos' turn, 8 cards in hand, bunches of mana, still a Whip of Erebos. I don't really care if they summon Rakdos right now, if Kiki-Jiki dies. I do want to keep it around for Combustible Gearhulk to get that going a little bit more, but I think we can live if Kiki-Jiki just can't, kicks the can. We got a whipping on the Rakdos. Ooh, Rakdos has haste and lifelink. That's a sad face. Delina also hits the bin along with Kiki-Jiki. Neheb gets to stay alive. We really need to do something about that lifelink over there on the demon side of the board. Rakdos into us? Yep. We'll take another 6 commander, going up to 12. That's not my favorite. Only 2 hits away from being dead. Let's go ahead and respond to Necropotence. I'm going to get Vine Witch off the top. That way we can just get it at the end of our turn and save it in case we get something. We're going to need removal for Rakdos. That's pretty certain. We are down to 108, but up to 6 commander. Which I'm confused by. I guess we haven't been hit by Rakdos yet. That must have been Delina. Gives us extra time, so that's nice. We have victimized our Rakdos. Okay. So let's see. Sad Robot and what? It's Doom Whisperer. At least they're tapped. Unfortunately, none of our stuff has haste besides Tajic, Blade of the Legion. Whip of Erebos will trigger, but Rakdos is no longer there. Rakdos is straight into exile. I guess they missed putting it in the command zone, or maybe there's a glitch? Could also be they're just done with their commander. To our turn. We don't really have haste. No reason to play Vault of the Archangel. We could do the Unearth on the Priest of Fell Rites, but there's nothing I really want to recur. I do want to get our commander back down, obviously. Let's go ahead, play Clifftop Retreat. And then I do want to get down the Gearhulk as well. So let's go ahead and do that. And we will pick the Delina player. Yep, we get Chainer, Rakdos Signet, and Blood Crypt. Not too bad. Some more recursion is always good. Wish we had Piru in the graveyard, though. Let's get down to Signet. And then we'll get down Chainer. Alright, unfortunately no haste for us. Let's pass it off. Do have mana up for the Boros Charm. Necropotence triggers. We're going to get back the Witch. Over to Delina's turn. Mana Vault. Delina takes 1 down to 8. Valkut the Molten Pinnacle is triggered. Oof. Unfortunately, that's probably going to Chainer. And that is not my favorite. Oh no, it's going to us. Fine, I'll take it to the face. I don't care. I need Chainer more. My fist can take it. We go down to 105. Zale's Conscripts, they're going to steal something. That's a sad face. I imagine it'll be the Combustible Gearhulk. Oh, they might steal a bunch of stuff. Potentially could kill the Rakdos player here. A lot of potential for that. I don't think they'll be going after them, though. They seem to have a fixation with us, unfortunately. And the Rakdos player having lifelink is really bad for us. We still haven't drawn removal for the Whip of Erebos. And frankly, I don't think we're going to necessarily get, although a Heliod's intervention would be fantastic. And there's a bunch more triggers. Yep, that is a lot of stuff. Plus they can steal permanents, which is also problematic. Let's see where these are going. They do sacrifice the Mind Stone for a card. Our creatures, their creatures, and our creatures again? I wonder if they know it can steal permanents. I mean, Athreos wouldn't be worth too much, unless they had a sack outlet for their own guys. As long as Chainer doesn't die, I think we'll be fine, because the haste on Piru would be fantastic, especially with Boros Charm, just to try and, get the game out and get it going. Alright, unfortunately they lose the flip on the other Mirror March. Did not steal the Whip of Erebos. Well, unfortunate for them. They did discard a card, though, to get something back. I don't know what they targeted, though. It's the Kiki-Jiki. And they go infinite. Sad face. Well, good game to them. And out of the depths of the sewer comes Delina, smacking us across for infinite damage. Good game to our opponents. It was a rather enjoyable game, although the resource denial was a bit harsh. Just to not have all that recursion, just couldn't do what the deck wanted. But I think overall it did pretty well, considering. The Necropotence really helped out. Well, we might as well dome them for 4 while we're here. Never go down without a fight. Maybe the Rakdos player has a Rakdos Charm. They are down to 4 on Delina's side. Okay, now they can steal everything and gain all the life they need. I'll see you on the other side of this. Alright, so in lieu of them playing it out, we'll just surrender. I just asked Bunder if they had a Rakdos Charm, and they said no, so good game. Let's go ahead and concede. Alright, and there they go. You know, I kind of enjoyed playing against all of my opponents. I really don't know who I want to give it to, but I think I'll give it to the winner. New deck and all that jazz. Winning on the combo, not my favorite ever, but they played through, never didn't give up. I can always admire that. Alright, and with that, I'm pretty sure they're going to win or something. Bunder's still in the game, though. I don't know if they have maybe a darkness to fog everything. That would be kind of hilarious. I'm going to sit and watch. First strike combat damage down to -17 for the Rakdos player. And there it is, 1 to us, thank you opponents, and 4 to the winner. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. Did make some changes. Okay, here is the deck. So, as far as changes go, I added a little bit more card draw. Did add Faithless Looting. Not really too much on the card draw. I did take out the Well of Lost Dreams. It just wasn't consistent enough in the deck, and the deck's kind of clunky on the life gain besides our commander, so I didn't want to keep that in there and necessarily just risk having it be a dead card. More than that, though, I put in some more recursion, which I feel is kind of more important to the deck just to keep it going. So, in this instance, I add Golgari Thug, and I did take out some of the extra ramp, like Tithe, because we seem to get enough lands as it is, and we have a bunch of Signets, the Mana Compass, Wayfarer's Bubble. I didn't think we necessarily needed Tithe or the Oreskos Leonin to Gelgas and extra planes if somebody was ahead. We tend to make our land drop, so I took those out in favor of other things, and that included the Golgari Thug. Other than that, also added Unburial Rites because I completely forgot about that card again, and I don't know why I keep doing that. And I've been trying out the Vanewitch Coven. Again, the life gain in the deck's kind of clunky, so don't know if I'm going to keep it. It is another recursion source. We do have to pay black and keep black up for it, which I don't feel like is a bad card. It's just, again, the clunkiness of the life gain in the deck. So, testing it out, really didn't get to do it this time, but if this time is any indication, probably going to cut eventually. One other thing I did want to point out is that we had Vizkopa Guildmage. I played right into that Shared Fate, and it got exiled. So that was just stupid on my part, although I don't know at that point how we would have gotten it back anyway, but this, of course, combos with itself and a large creature and a bunch of mana. In your case, here's the deck. Again, not too many changes, a little bit of card draw, like 1 card, a little bit more recursion, added a little bit of haste. Overall, I think the deck's doing okay. Have to test it out a little bit more before the 3rd game, see how it goes. If you saw any cards that you want to purchase for yourself in paper, sealed product, or gaming accessories, to protect all that glory, please consider using the TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. It helps out the channel, doesn't cost you anything extra. In the description below, you can also find game links to my other game for Piru, and that's been a thing I've been doing for a number of series now. So if you want to check out those games, feel free to click those links in the description below as well, to see how the deck evolves over time, and maybe what cards I decide to cut from it or add to it. On to the last game of Piru, and then we'll be moving on to the Dungeons & Dragons commanders. Mostly, I don't like out-of-universe stuff, but Dungeons & Dragons I feel is like close enough to the Magic the Gathering game. I don't really have too much problem or issue with the cards myself. They seem to kind of fit the aesthetic, even if the naming conventions really don't. You can let me know what you think about the set overall in the comments if you want to. I feel like it's okay. It's probably the first set where I want to buy more white cards than any other color or color combination, so that's always a good thing. Until the next time we see Piru, or the next video, whatever it happens to be, stay safe out there, especially if you're going to hang out with friends, family, or play Magic.